You know, some places don't reveal themselves until you're willing to wait. This is Cowley Lake Falls. It's about 4 o'clock in the morning. And the hike up here in the dark was, well, let's just say that I earned this coffee. I'd already been here twice. I shot the Silk Effect, I shot the road trip, but there was one more frame that I kept thinking about. What does this place look like under the Milky Way? And what might surprise you is that the answer to that question isn't really about gear. It's about patience, about being willing to sit in the dark on a rocky ledge and just wait. Here's what Cowley Lake Falls looks like in the daytime. It's tucked into this canyon in south central Kansas. It's not a famous waterfall, not on most photography maps, but once you find it, it stays with you. The falls themselves drop maybe 20 feet, but that's not what you're here for tonight. You're here for the sky above them. Kansas gets overlooked for astrophotography. That's a big mistake. Getting to the photo spot is the part that I really didn't think through the first time I visited. The trail down the cliff's edge is manageable in the daylight, but at night it's a very different story. But here's a pro tip. If you're going to do night photography at a location that you've never visited in the dark, scout it out first. Walk it in the daytime. And then make mental notes of every tricky step, every route, every place where the trail disappears. That knowledge is worth more than any piece of gear that you'll bring. I'd been here twice before, so I knew the route. That's the only reason this worked. And then you wait. Astrophotography is mostly waiting. You're waiting for your eyes to adjust, for the sky to darken fully, for the moon to set or to rise, depending on what you want to take. Tonight I wanted a dark sky, so I timed the shoot for the moon to go down. That gave me about a 1-hour window. I had coffee. I had the sound of the water below. I had the kind of quiet that you can only find when you're somewhere truly remote. And honestly, that was the best part. The first frames I pulled up on the back of the camera were lake shots. The Milky Way hadn't quite come up yet. And what might surprise you is how much of this image is made before you press the shutter. The composition, the foreground elements, the anticipation of where the galactic core is going to rise, that's the work. And the camera just records what you've already figured out. But this one, the Milky Way above the falls, this one took time. I had to find a position where the water was falling and the stars occupied the same frame without either one overpowering the other. The waterfall is in a canyon, and the canyon walls cut into the sky, so you're working with a narrow slice of stars. I ended up on my stomach on the rock ledge, the camera on the lowest angle the tripod could manage, and I just waited for the galactic core to drift into position. You know, there's a version of photography that's all about mastering your camera, and there's another version that's about being in the right place at the right time and having the sense to recognize it. This was that second kind. By the time I shot the shots, the sky was already changing at the horizon, the deep blue before the sunrise, nautical twilight. It's its own kind of light, and the color came. I photographed a lot of sunrises, but this one was different because of what came before it. When you spent a full night in the darkness, the light feels like something you've earned. The falls caught the first golden light just after 6 a.m., and I was still there, still on the ledge, still with my coffee, long gone cold, and it was worth it. This was the third and final video from Cowley Lake Falls. The first was about technique, how to get that silk effect. The second was about the road trip that brought me here. And this one was the reason that I came back a third time. Some places deserve more than one visit. Some photographs only happen if you're willing to stay around. I hope these videos have inspired you to find your own place like this one. It doesn't have to be a famous place. It doesn't have to be far away. It just has to be yours. And I'll see you out there. And until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, stay on the path, and God bless you.